And good afternoon, everyone. This is Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor. My name is Jim, and this is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog network. This is a directed network, and I am net control. If at any time during this net should any emergency arise, please notify net control, and we'll stand by and allow those in need to access this frequency. Is there any priority or emergency traffic at this time? And hearing nothing, we will continue. This net is all about ham radio and being all that you can be. That's what our Qso-Vlog network is all about, trying to help people achieve the best sounding station possible. Thanks for dropping by. FYI, my background is 50 years in commercial broadcasting, where a lot of big bucks are spent on audio processing equipment and getting it set up correctly to get the best sounding station possible. Well, long story short, when I became a ham radio operator, I could hear immediately a large discrepancy in on-air technical proficiency. A lot of stations were running with very poor mic equalization, very muddy, with little articulation. And as I continued to work stations, I realized most of the stations were also running very low average peak modulation, many around 30% of average peak modulation. So with my background, I felt I could help, or at least try. I knew that most modern-day ham transceivers did have enough onboard processing equipment to be able to overcome most all of the problems. So it would just be a matter of developing a generic dynamic range setup procedure and then adjusting the onboard EQ gear. And so I started the Qso-Vlog network with the phrase, if you have a radio you want to check out, give us a shout. And today we're currently featuring over 3,000 Qso-Vlog Aircheck recordings. And you can access these recordings by going to YouTube and doing a call letter search for KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook. That's Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, followed by the word logbook. And we also have a newer series called KC9VKV Highlights. That's Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, followed by the word highlights on a YouTube search. These are some of our less technical and more human nature philosophical kinds of QSOs. That's KC9VKV, followed by the word highlights on a YouTube search. Both KC9VKV Logbook and KC9VKV Highlights are segments of our main YouTube homepage of Jim's Radio Story, where we celebrate a 50-year career in commercial broadcasting. A 50-year journey from a 5-watt pirate radio station as a 12-year-old to production director of a major 50,000-watt broadcast facility. You'll have to check it out and subscribe. Jim's Radio Story on a YouTube search. Our mission statement for the Qso-Vlog network is to establish a higher technical level of radio transmissions of the human voice by the intelligent utilization of available electronics in current amateur radio transceivers. Our setup, while generic in nature, converts the average 10 dB dynamic range transmitter with an average 30% of peak modulation to a much fuller 3 dB dynamic range with an average 80 to 85% of peak modulation. This substantial boost in audio transmit level is extremely beneficial in high noise levels and heavy QRM. It allows you to punch through when others fail. The second part of our transmitter setup has to do with proper mic equalization. We're looking to optimize the transmitted voice for a higher degree of intelligibility through the use of EQ patterns that bring out the articulation aspects of the human voice. Again, why need to hear the voice if you can't understand the words? Also this afternoon on the receive side, we're running 5 Internet SDR receivers, monitoring New York, Pennsylvania, Georgia, and Virginia specifically. And in addition, we're running our newer number 5 Hocus Pocus Internet SDR receiver, loaded with 50 additional pre-programmed Internet SDR locations spread out over 20 states across the eastern half of the United States, trying to get the best copy from our 100-watt friends. Now the audio from these 5 SDR receivers comes up on a 6-position rotary selector. Also on the selector is our local receiver audio. And today our local receiver is running 3 large 10-foot vertical magnetic loop antennas. One aimed at 0 degrees, one aimed at 90 degrees, and the number 3 is aimed at 134 degrees. These are run as a directional scanner array with a manual voting system 6-position rotary selector. Also today on the transmit side we'll be running our no SWR specially oriented resonant tuned dipole antenna. One leg of this resonant tuned dipole antenna runs broadside to Montreal, Canada. The other leg runs broadside to Miami, Florida. As we were constructing our station, our mantra was 20 over from Montreal to Miami with a hotspot through the Carolinas. And although conditions may vary, the general performance of this antenna supports its mission. Also today we'll be running our input source indicator. So when we switch from an internet SDR receiver to our local receiver, you'll be able to hear the switch and see the switch. You'll have to check it out on our YouTube Qso-Vlog video. And as we come together for another Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog network, let us pause just a moment for the amateur radio operator's prayer. During this time of pandemic that has challenged us all, we pray that you will protect everyone, especially our elderly. And also, Lord, we seek your divine intervention to bring peace to a very divided United States. As we go through a very conflicting time in America's history, with dark clouds all around, we pray that you will reduce life's daily political curium between our brothers and sisters. And through your love and guidance, show us the way to find peace and harmony. Help us to communicate with one another 20 over S9. Thank you, Lord, and God bless and protect America. Amen. To continue, since this part of the band has many nets trying to operate in a very confined area, I would appreciate all stations checking into our Qso-Vlog net to keep their band pass to no wider than 100 to 2900. And again, please, no wider than 100 to 2900. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog network. And now, with all that being said, let's open it up and see who's out there. If you have a radio you want to check out, give us a shout.
KC9VKV, this is Kilo 8, Echo, Papa, Sierra. Name is Eric. We spoke last week, and I waited to make sure you didn't have a bunch of folks needing to have their microphones equalized. So I had a question for you, Jim. You offered one time to give me a little tutorial on changing from a dynamic microphone to an electret or a condenser microphone, and it sounded like that would not interrupt your normal course of action. So if you've got time, a couple of minutes, I had a few questions about electret microphones. This is Kilo 8, Echo, Papa, Sierra.
Ohio.
Eric.
Roger, Eric. Well, gosh, simplicity would be that one might get a preamp that furnished a DC voltage phantom supply for your condenser mic. That would be the easiest way to make the conversion. So you just plug your electret into this mic preamp that's furnishing a DC, phantom DC to it, and it comes out, a mic level and goes back into your radio, Roger.
A mic level and goes back into your radio, Roger.
Roger, Jim.
Yours a few months ago.
After I heard another broadcast of yours a few months ago where you were discussing that kind of a conversion, and I checked, and my Kenwood TF890 manual, the operator's manual, indicates that there is an 8-volt pin on the microphone connector. I do have an external EQ box, and it has a 48-volt phantom power supply in it. So I was figuring I would chat with you and figure out Is the 8 volts out of the Kenwood sufficient to go to the Kenwood, or do I need 48 volts for my external EQ? And does that mean there's a difference in the Electret microphones that I need to be aware of?
Well, the 48 volt is the professional voltage supplied to most pro condenser microphones. So if you get a real condenser microphone, all you got to do is just plug it into that preamp, and away you go. Roger, Roger.
To that preamp, and away you go. Roger, Roger.
Roger. If I wanted to use the Kenwood EQ, would I need to do something that would boost just that 8 volts up to 48 volts for the average condenser mic?
No, I would, you could probably still use that 8 volts. So that's a minimum, and it all depends on the load of the microphone. So an Electret microphone, 8 volts is plenty of volts to make it happen there. So you probably could take advantage of the 8 volt output on your mic jack, and consult your owner's manual for exactly how to wire up an Electret mic and take advantage of that 8 volts, Ryder.
Mic and take advantage of that 8 volts, Ryder.
Roger, that would be the most convenient. I use the external preamp equalizer box for my headset, and I use the microphone jack on the radio for my Heil microphone for the desk. But I would have liked to be able
and use its 18-band equalizer. And then you've answered that question for me. The next one I have is I'm running a Heil PR40 for the desk and a Sennheiser headset, and they all sound good. Is there a particular, let's say, a desk mic for Electret microphone that I should be looking at? What are some good ones that I could look at?
Gosh, just about anywhere, that sell ham equipment. I might add that where you are right now, I don't know what mic you're using right now, but it really sounds just beautiful. It's got very broad, numbers across the scale there. I don't know, why you would necessarily want to change mics. I like the sound of that mic, Roger.
I appreciate that, Jim. I just was thinking that the condenser mic, I've never had one, never tried one, and I'm an engineer, so I kind of like to play around and see how things work. But this is a Heil PR40, and we've got the EQ set up the way you recommended. Did this, as they say, by ear, and it served me well. But I didn't know if maybe a condenser microphone could give me a different set of characteristics that might be good. I'm certainly happy with what I have, but being an inveterate electronics tinkerer, I just was curious about the possibility of a condenser mic. This is Kilo 8 EPS.
And this is KC9VKV, the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. And Eric, I'll tell you, that microphone does just sound very, very nice. But I'm with you. I'm always experimenting with things. Not so much, lately, but in my earlier years. And I did find all of a sudden this $2 Electret microphone was just producing upper frequencies in the silver range that I had been EQing, having to EQ on dynamic mics. This mic just flat so to speak, just outperformed any dynamic microphone that I was cranking in a lot of top-end EQ. So I do know that, for $2, or maybe $3, you want a depending, I guess you would go with I always found a 2.2 k ohm resistor across the output made that mic operate the best. I'm not real sure why, but I always loaded mine with a 2.2k resistor going into the input of the radio. Just mic condenser mic into the input of the radio, not really involving the preamp at all, but
Well, then that begs the question. Do you have to add for a $2 or $3 condenser element? Do you have to add your inline capacitor for DC blocking, or is that something that's built into the element?
Oh, that's the only way you can, you have to go without that blocking capacitor, because that's the only way that 8 volts coming out is the only way that that DC can get to the electret microphone, which the electret microphone has to have. So you would not use a blocking capacitor on an electret microphone or condenser microphone that you were going in with. But like I say, I found a 2.2 ohm load resistor, kind of made it work as best as I could. I ran through with a variable resistor and found 2.2 K to make that mic operate just glorious. Now, there are some modifications that you can do to the electret microphone that make it even outperform itself even better. And that is, I call this my CRISPR mic modification. And it's, I don't know if you're familiar with like phono plugs. They've got a little rubber thing that fits over the jack, and I take a razor blade and I cut off the tapering part of that, so I just have a cylinder kind of thing, and this cylinder is just big enough to fit over the electret diaphragm and stick out about 1/4 of an inch in front of the electret diaphragm, and that gives you a rising treble characteristic of like maybe 6 or 7 dB above flat at 6 kc. So it's just a nice little CRISPR that you can add to an electret microphone to make it sound even better. Roger?
An electret microphone to make it sound even better. Roger?
Roger, yeah, I hadn't thought of that. That's an interesting concept. I'm sitting here thinking, yeah, I can understand that. Yeah, that would make sense. And you get your treble boost that way and kind of make like a DX microphone, more or less.
Well, you have a your ALC, which is actually the limiter for the radio, that will take care of a lot of that top-end stuff. Actually, it compresses it, so you just get fuller syllabic content in your voice. The electret microphone is already reproducing a very great amount of high-frequency information, which the dynamic couldn't do, and then that CRISPR just adds just a little bit more, and that's what I'm running right now.
That's what I'm running right now.
Makes sense. A lot of times it's the little things that count.
Very well. Like I said, Jim,
Happy with my desk mic setup here and the EQ that we did, and I'm frankly only looking at condenser just for experimentation purposes. But I assume because you're running a ICOM 7300 that you're using some kind of a condenser microphone on your end.
Oh yeah. I'm running a ART preamp into the 7300, and then this Electret mic right into the input of the ART preamp. And I think ART preamps are like $60 or so, and it gives you some control over the audio signal, like it has an output control and an input control to adjust how much compression, if any, that you want to use or don't. But it also does a nice interface to the Electret microphone. Roger?
Face to the Electret microphone. Roger?
Roger. Yeah, I've seen that microphone you use on your YouTube channel, and I didn't recognize it. It's kind of got the old Shure look to it, but it doesn't look exactly like a Shure mic, so I wasn't really sure of what kind of microphone you were running there in your shack.
Roger. Well, this is just like an inch round thin-walled piece of steel. It is about probably 8 inches long for whatever reason, I don't know, but what I had. And the audio comes in the back, and the microphone's up in the front. And I do use a lot of duct tape, to wrap the microphone in the enclosure in the front. I use it to make it fit, because it doesn't, the microphone holder is bigger in the front than the element. So I just fill it out a little bit so it stays where it's supposed to be. And I also once I put that little piece of the phono piece for CRISPR, I usually put a little piece of tape around to join the CRISPR to the microphone. Just wrap it around one turn, just to keep those two things right there, and you still have about a half an inch or a quarter of an inch between there, about a quarter of an inch of that CRISPR hanging out in front of the Electret microphone, and that's what causes the passive high-frequency rising characteristic.
Passive high-frequency rising characteristic.
Yes, very inventive. We do what we must. I liked your comment about a duct tape guy. I've had my share of that over the years. Started out similar to you, building some of my own equipment in my teenage years and having my own AM radio station, and learning it the hard way, converting old televisions into transmitters. Those horizontal sweep tubes made a really powerful output system, and so I was used to having to modify and kind of kludge everything just to make it work in those days, so I'm not afraid to do it now. So I fully understand that. Kilo 8 Echo Papa Sierra for ID.
Roger. KC9VKV, the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. Yeah, I don't, I would, Gorilla Tape is my preference. It comes in black and white depending on what your job is. And I do a lot of, if I like a box and the size of it, I'll take either black or white Gorilla Tape, and I'll tape the whole box. And here I have, here's a whole roll of Gorilla Tape that's like $8 or $9, and I've taken a cardboard box and made it into the ideal box, and at first it sounds expensive, but here's $8 for this box. It's just absolutely perfect, and would probably cost me $30 to buy it if I would happen to see one that size, Roger. So you just you get inclined to be using that Gorilla Tape to solve just amazing amount of problems. My whole I might say I do use it extensively, and I've got a table here that I've got it covered right where I am, and it's been hanging out pretty good there for 10 years, Roger.
And it's been hanging out pretty good there for 10 years, Roger.
Yeah, don't change it if it works. That's great. Well, Jim, I won't tie you up. I noticed that the band was really low today, and you were getting out in here reasonably well.
Good day, you're going to be up at 9, but the band was really quiet. There wasn't much of anything going on in 40 meters that I could see. And when nobody was coming back to you, I thought this is a great opportunity for me to jump in and get some mentoring time from you. And it's really been a pleasure to talk to you under these circumstances. So I'll back off of here. By now there may be somebody tuning across that wants to get their radio set up, and you're the man for the job. So once again, Jim, thanks for all of your advice and your help, and I'll be listening to you every Friday that I can. So you take care. 73, this is Kilo 8, Echo, Papa Sierra, clear.
Roger there, Eric, and I think you should be able to take advantage of that 8 volts that's stubbed out there, or come out with a lead, or however it is. You might just try taking the electret microphone has 2 wires. One is ground and one is the high side, and you want the part of the electret microphone that's grounded, you want that ground to go to your radio ground or your audio ground, and then that leaves you one high side that can go right to that pin in question to give you the voltage. Or if that doesn't work, the voltage is there to use to get into that electret microphone itself there. You wouldn't need a separate power supply. So you might just play around with it, but I'm saying there's 2 wires coming out of that electret microphone, and one of those goes to ground, so that reduces your difficulty because you only have 1 wire left, and you might just try placing it on that 8 volts directly, or you might have to work out a compromise there of some way, but you will have the voltage to make that mic work right there on your mic input, Roger.
That mic work right there on your mic input, Roger.
Roger, understood. Yeah, it may be a fun thing to experiment with. Like I said, I'm always fiddling with something around the electrical usually, so I think I'll give that a try. I'll find a cheapo microphone and start doing some experimentation.
Roger. Now, I would suggest that the enclosure that you put your electret microphone in be metallic, because it offers a much better shield than a plastic microphone cover. So make your condenser microphone holder as such out of metal, or use one that's metal. And there was something else I was going to mention there. And if it does work and you do start using it, you must, or it's a really good idea to start using a foam windscreen out in front of that electret microphone, because they're very, very sensitive to plosives and cause a lot of distortion if you work a electret condenser microphone directly in without a foam windscreen. So I've got the foam windscreen. I run very close mic. So I'm right up in that electret microphone, but I couldn't be that way if I wasn't using a foam windscreen, Roger.
If I wasn't using a foam windscreen, Roger?
Yeah, you're right. I know that the condenser mics are supposed to be really sensitive, and I run a foam cover on this Heil PR40, and it gives me a pretty clean sound. I work it close too, and nobody's ever complained about breath sounds or mouth noises, but I can understand the sensitivity of a condenser mic is so much higher than this dynamic that if I didn't have some kind of a foam cover on it, it probably would be a plosive monitor.
Oh, yes, sir, and just other mouth noises that would add QRM. You would be QRMing yourself if you weren't using a foam windscreen, because they really are very important. I wouldn't leave home without one, Roger.
I wouldn't leave home without one, Roger.
Yeah, as we sit in our shacks and we wouldn't leave home without one. I get it. That's pretty good. And I do understand the need then for the shielding it with a metal housing of some kind. So that all makes sense. So you're helping me get my little fiddling experiment kind of laid out. And I appreciate that tip about the 2.2K mic resistor across the input, helping you get the sound you need, your crisper. That was a good tip. I've made notes here, so I should be in good shape when I want to try this stuff.
Roger that. And there's another test that I use just to see what the situation is there. You know, I've got a bunch of stuff tied to this input that the normal station would not have, you know. So, and the more stuff you have tied to your mic input, the more probabilities you're going to experience in RF and the AF. You know, you just when you start tacking stuff onto your input, particularly if you're running power, you're going to have a much larger incidence of RF and the AF. And my rule of thumb to find out how well I'm doing is I try to have myself a 10 dB over normal situation. In other words, if I'm coming in at 55, then I'll go down to 10 dB above that as far as my mic level input control. I'm let's see, to explain this. I increase the gain 10 dB above normal operating conditions just to see how close I am to getting RF in the AF. In other words, the more gain I give, the more probability I'm going to run into some problems. So if I can run plus 10 over my normal level and nothing takes off like a big bird, then I'm relatively confident that I'm well below RF and the AF problems, Roger.
Well below RF and the AF problems, Roger.
That makes sense. Yep. You turn up that sensitivity, you're probably going to find it if it's there. So I just noticed on the S meter that there was a couple of drops in your last transmission where you went down just below S3, and I happen to have about an S2 noise level, and then you shot right back up to an S8. So that's a very volatile band we're working with today.
Yes, sir. Well, people don't really realize, I don't think, how volatile it really is, because they're listening to a one-source signal, and it comes and goes a little bit. But I'm listening on 5 SDRs across the country, and I can just run through those and tell what's going on in just 3 seconds. I can just, they are on rotary, and I can just rotary select these 5 SDRs, across the country, and I can tell whether the signal is up or not. And then sometimes when it goes bad on one, I can jump to another one, and it'll be there. So there's usually constantly some kind of propagational phasing going on, sometimes more noticeable than other times. Roger?
And sometimes more noticeable than other times. Roger?
That's true. The last 2 or 3 days have been really interesting. I've noticed that the band would just completely go away, and then an hour later it comes back in, and then the solar wind hits, and there's lots of noise. So it's just been up and down a bunch lately. I guess I was expecting more out of the solar maximum than I've seen so far. But yeah, like last week, you had me on your Cincinnati or your Kentucky SDR, and you said that the PA SDR was down. And I noticed today it looks to be PA SDR, so it must be back up. And in fact, that may be where you're hearing me, because that always seemed to do well.
Roger, actually I was using my Georgia SDR. I don't know really what the deal is, but again, my PA SDR is my normal one is not available, and it's getting to be that way more often. I don't know exactly what the deal is there, but it is the last 2 or 3 times it's not been available, so they may be shut down, which is going to be a catastrophe. But SDRs are really nice. It's a way of getting there even when it's not working on your local antenna. So we can try to get close enough to the copy, the mail, and function as far as, and they're all receivers, that's just, we're always transmitting on our tuned dipole antenna, always transmitting on the tuned dipole antenna, but we're receiving, like I say, in a multitude of different ways. We have our local receiver, and then we have 5 SDR receivers around the country on the eastern part of the United States.
Eastern part of the United States.
Are you, I'm trying to think of how you would be more or less multiplexing your loop antennas. You said in your preamble that you had loop antennas, and I'm just trying to think of how, from an engineering standpoint, how you would
receiver.
Okay, I have external input control that I can use my normal through, or select other antennas. This is an addition that we used on our 990, which was nice too. And then we got this 7300 and had to work out a thing where we could use more than one antenna for receive on that 7300. And again, it's a matter of max smoke. If you're not really listening or looking at a signal, you're listening to it. You're listening to the white noise, and the more white noise you have, obviously, the weaker the signal. Roger.
And the more white noise you have, obviously, the weaker the signal. Roger.
Roger. Yeah, that's. Man, it's been a pleasure getting a chance just to, in a relaxed fashion, talk electronics and radio with you. Like I said, I will be back on next Friday listening, and I learn a lot. So I'm going to jump off of here, and you may have somebody who's receiving you now, because your signal's up around S9. So you may be getting out there now to the extent where some of the more distant stations can hear you. 73 Jim, glad you're there. You're always there, so I really appreciate that. And this is Kilo 8 Echo Papa Sierra, off and clear.
Roger, Eric, 73, sir, and you have a great afternoon, beautiful weekend. And if you want to hear your audio, if you go to YouTube and do that call letter search, KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook, bring up this recording. And this is cut number 1 in the series of actually 3,300, I think. And we'll have it uploaded by noon tomorrow. So 73. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Qso-Vlog net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
November 8th, uniform Alpha X-ray.
November 8 station, come back slowly phonetically with your call sign.
November 8 station, come back slowly phonetically with your call sign.
Okay, I'm sorry. November 8, uniform Alpha X-ray. November 8, uniform Alpha X-ray. Don't know where the mic's set, don't have any idea, so if it's all distorted or something, if it's distorted or something, it's my fault.
Roger, what's the name there?
Roger, what's the name there?
Name is Mark. We've spoken before. You've helped me out numerous times, wonderfully also.
You say Mark?
You say Mark?
Yeah, Mark. Mike Alpha Romeo Kilo.
Okay, Mark, and where are you located, sir?
Okay, Mark, and where are you located, sir?
North Carolina.
What radio is that?
What radio is that?
FT101E.
E is in Edward?
E is in Edward?
Roger, E is in Echo.
Roger. Okay, I think we might be able to help your signal a little bit, but let's take one thing at a time. First thing would be to be sure that you're in that wide transmit bandwidth, TBW, wide TBW, 100 to 2900, wide 100 to 2900 on your TBW. That gives you all of the capability that transmitter can do, and then gives you just a slice of daylight before you are into somebody else's conversation. Roger?
Before you are into somebody else's conversation. Roger?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't see that setting on the radio, so I don't know where it is. This radio has just been aligned. So it should be correct. If that helps you, I do have the processor in, and the mic gain is at about half.
Roger there, Mark. Okay, well, why don't you take a note on that? Take a note on your transmit bandwidth. We want to be in that wide mode, 100 to 2900. You might have other modes, but that 100 to 2900 will be the best thing for your transmitter. The thing is, when you start to lesser modes of your transmit bandwidth, you start rolling off the top end, and there goes the intelligibility. You want as much intelligibility as you can, because that will help you get through a pile-up or whatever, And if you cut yourself down to like a 2, like a 400 to 2 KC or something like that, you will have fairly well wiped out your top end there, and you will not be as perceived to understand what you're saying as if you were up at the 100 to 2900. So take a note. You want to be 100 to 2900 on your transmit bandwidth. Roger?
You want to be 100 to 2900 on your transmit bandwidth. Roger?
Okay, there's no setting on the radio for that in front. That must be an alignment issue. I'll look at the service manual and see if there is such a thing. But mind you, it is a condenser microphone. That may change things a bit. Made everything. It sounds good. How wide they made everything. It sounds good on the receive end.
I didn't understand what that was. The transmitter doesn't have much to do with the receiver. This is just a transmit bandwidth. TBW, Roger.
Just a transmit bandwidth. TBW, Roger.
Yeah, TVW. I know what that is. I mean, I've got a 7610 here also, but I don't have. There's not a setting on this radio for that. It's an ST101E. It's a 1970 vintage. I'm sure you're familiar with it. It's a hybrid.
Yes, sir. Well, you're probably down to maybe 200 to 2700. The later radios are more defined as far as having three different bandwidth capabilities. The older radios are usually pretty stuck with whatever the bandwidth was in the original concept, and not be able to be changed. But in that period, I can't be sure. You can just have to check your owner's manual about that. But in lieu of being able to hit 100 to 2900, obviously and if you have an option, you want to be in the highest resolution you can, provided that it doesn't exceed 2900. So there you go there. But let's continue on. On that compressor processor, we suggest a 3 on your compressor processor. It's just enough to really help you a lot, but it's very imperceivable as far as somebody listening saying that you're running any compression at all. So it's a 3 out of 10 or 30 out of 100 on your compressor processor. Roger?
Out of 100 on your compressor processor. Roger?
Roger, you do realize that this radio has processor on-off only.
Is that right? Is that right? Are you sure?
Is that right? Is that right? Are you sure?
Mind you, it's an ST101 Echo. It's the same as a B or the A. It's an old. I'm warming up the tubes in the back of it. It's an oldie.
Okay, sir. Just to check your frequency, we're on 7188. Roger, you seem like you might be just ever so top. High on frequency. We are on 7188, Roger?
High on frequency. We are on 7188, Roger?
Okay, let me make an adjustment on this over here, and I'll adjust it accordingly. I want to come back to you. I can move that a little bit. Oh no, I can't. I have to move the dial. Okay. Why don't you come back and I'll tune your voice? This sounds like you, but I'll tune the voice again.
All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This is KC9VKV, and I want to get to your ALC. You're pretty hot into your ALC, so let's if you want to. We could turn off that processor since I haven't heard it work, so you can leave it on or take it off. It's really such a low amount. It doesn't do that much as far as what we do as far as the setup. The main thing is coming up the ALC. We want to set the ALC to with your mic gain in hand, and as you say the word audio, don't stress it. Just say it like you would say any other word in a QSO. Audio. It's the first half of that word that's really important, and adjust your mic gain until your ALC meter is running 7 or 2/3. 7 or 2/3 on your ALC meter as you manipulate your mic gain control and say the word audio.
Manipulate your mic gain control and say the word audio.
Okay, well the mic gain here only goes from 0 to 5. The ALC goes 0 to 5, and right now on audio it's running about 3. Okay, about 3 is what it says. Okay,
so got to listen. You've got a mic level control, and you've got an LC meter, I assume. And if you say the word audio and turn the mic gain up or down as you're saying the word audio, and you're looking at your ALC meter, you want to hit it right at 2/3 or 7, whichever comes first.
2/3 or 7, whichever comes first.
Okay, well, all right. The ALC on this radio goes from 0 to 5. But anyhow, I'll get it so it's at 2/3. There's a little hot. Hello. Hello, audio. Hello, audio. Hello. Boy, it's all over. That's down a little bit.
Okay, tell me about your antenna system so that I can hear you a little bit.
Okay, tell me about your antenna system so that I can hear you a little bit.
Oh, we're using a full trap dipole 4080-160, and the match is good here, but it will not. It is a little narrow. I do not have a match a tuner in between it. I haven't hooked it up yet.
Roger that. Okay, and does it have equalization? Does it have onboard equalization?
Does it have equalization? Does it have onboard equalization?
No. Let me tell you what it does have. You have the computer that bring up an FT101, and you'll see noise blanker on off. There's RF attenuation on off, and then there's an index that you use 25 hertz to 100 hertz to find your center frequency. That is strictly hertz to 100 hertz to find your center frequency, and that is strictly for to calibrate the dial and figure out where you are. But I do have a digital plate with it, and I'm very, very close to 180 right now.
Okay, I'm having a hard time copying you. I'm assuming that you do not have an equalizer on board on that radio, but you do have some kind of low-frequency cut. Is that a Roger?
Kind of low-frequency cut. Is that a Roger?
Can you copy better? How's this?
Tell me about the best thing you like about your radio and let me listen to you.
Tell me about the best thing you like about your radio and let me listen to you.
Well, it's all it is something for me to mess around with, and I can change the other antenna to be better. Right now I got on the mic gain, I have it at 4. I do not have the processor in. The microphone is it's a D104, but it's got a condenser modification on it, and it is amplified. So I can turn the microphone up. My watt meter on TED says about 150 watts. Okay, so I know it's not a lot of power, and until I figured out like get everything matched up here with the SB220. I don't want to transmit it to an unmatched antenna of the SB220. So I heard you on the air. I'm sorry if it's an inconvenience for you. We can try it another time.
No, not at all. Not at all. I'm trying to figure out what we do have to work with, If you do not have, if you do have a bass roll or bass cut, I would suggest putting it in that. But the problem is you need more top end. And if you have something that does have a selection for more top end, you might try that because your high frequency content right at the moment is very limited, Roger.
High frequency content right at the moment is very limited, Roger.
Okay, and that's typical. Mr. Microphones are okay. I don't know what the frequency range was on this condenser microphone I put in here. Okay, I just I grabbed one out of my box and put it in. So, but generally almost all the same. Now, my put in the processor, you can look through that, and I can mess with the mic gain. Over.
Right. Well, this is a matter of equalization. This is a matter of you not having a lot of high-frequency content. And that's what we want to try to get that your signal a little bit brighter than what it is in the top end. Now, you say you're running an electret condenser mic. Is that a Roger?
Now, you say you're running an electret condenser mic. Is that a Roger?
That's correct.
Okay, I have a thing called a CRISPR design that takes a phono jack shield or the rubber piece. I take a razor blade and I cut the narrowing part of that off, so I'm just left with a cylindrical kind of round thing about an inch long or half an inch long, but it's just perfect to slip over the electret microphone and protrude out in front of the electret microphone about a quarter of an inch or so. And what this does is causes a rising frequency characteristic. It becomes a passive equalizer and gives you more top-end frequency response than, probably 6 or 7 dB at 10K, but it does raise the top end quite a bit and gives you extra equalization. Although it's a passive thing, it works well with electret microphones. Roger?
Passive thing, it works well with electret microphones. Roger?
And I was told I'm 100 hertz high.
I'm sorry, try that again.
I'm sorry, try that again.
His signal is 100 hertz high. When you tune up 100 hertz, you can hear him. He sounds better. He loses that muddy bottom end.
Ah, okay. So, sir, you might come down 100 cycles or so, and let's listen to you.
Cycles or so, and let's listen to you.
Doesn't sound right at this end. Is that better?
Sounds pretty good. Tell me again what you like about your radio.
Tell me again what you like about your radio.
Well, it's something I picked up, and thank you, sir, for coming in there. The other gentleman said, that it's off frequency. I could use the clarifier. I probably could, rather than trying to move the dial. It's just the novelty of it. Like I said, I've got a 7610 if I want to get serious. It's the novelty of having the old radio and talking on it. But I do want you, Jim, to listen to the processor also. And let me know if I could turn the microphone up.
Roger. Well, the being on the upper side of the frequency, I'm not going to tune to you because I'd be tuning all day long to everywhere that comes in. We have to play it like it is. But I suggest that maybe you get a frequency meter so you can tell exactly what you're doing there. That'd probably be the best thing. We guarantee you that you would be on frequency. Just get an external frequency meter, Roger.
Get an external frequency meter, Roger.
Well, the bad news is I do have an external frequency meter, and it doesn't seem to be aligned with your voice correctly. It doesn't seem like you don't seem to be hitting where you are. I'm just, and like I said, Jim, I did that modification. You told me that once before. I did it on this microphone. I overheard you some days talking about it, and I did it. So that's been done on this microphone. And like I said, if the processor will help, I'll put the processor in. And if you need more mic gain or amplification at the microphone, I can do that too.
Right. Well, in the meantime, I'm thinking that we can use the proximity to microphone as a way of getting more high-frequency content. If you were to back off your distance to microphone by about 2 inches, it would shift your top end a little bit higher in regards to your bass, And so if you would work the mic maybe about 2 inches further back than what you normally do, and come up on your mic gain just a little bit to offset the proximity effect, then let's hear you that way, Roger.
Let's hear you that way, Roger.
Okay, Roger, yes. I see that when I transmit, it does go a little high on frequency. I moved away from it, and I'll compensate here. The 5 on the mic gain, and the processor is still on it.
I didn't catch that last. I missed that last. You're only about maybe a dB above my noise level, or I should say my Kentucky SDR noise level, Roger.
My Kentucky SDR noise level, Roger.
Okay, and I guess either antenna was good. You didn't tell me which antenna worked better. But mind you, it's only using that. There's the back from the mic. Yeah, mic gain is at 5. I've got a scale from 0 to 10, and process is not well.
Yeah, I've got some QRM on the frequency. Boy, we got them, and the problem is how to get rid of them. Anyway, Mark, you know, that 7610 really sounds like a good idea to me.
Good idea to me.
No, that's not the idea. The idea was the fun of getting this thing working correctly. I don't know about the processor. The processor's in. That helped you a little bit.
Yeah, Roger. Well, I would suggest then if you understand what that is, the CRISPR, just get you a phono jack and cut the tapering part off the rubber part, and then slip over that over the front end of your electret microphone for just barely, so you have about 1/4 of an inch or a little bit thereabouts, and that sticks out in front of your electret microphone, and that will really boost the top end, which is what you need. So it is a passive top end equalizer, Roger.
Is a passive top-end equalizer, Roger.
Mr. Roger, I did that already, okay? I've done that to this microphone. We have to do this another time. I'm just trying to not when I have the amplifier in line on it, and when the radio's had a couple hours to stabilize, and maybe it'll be closer to frequency.
Roger. I just went over and tried to copy you on my local antenna, and you're still kind of heavy on the bottom end there, or should I say not, the top end still suffers a little bit, needs more top end EQ. So, but there's always ways around everything, If you were to get a device that had some EQ capabilities externally, you could put that in line with your microphone, then but obviously you've got gain in that D104 that is currently running an electret capsule, and it's not a good idea to stack a bunch of equipment in line with each other, because everything you add to it opens up the possibilities for RF and the AF. But the neat part about it is, if you do have this device that would give you a little compression and a little EQ, you can make any older radio sound brand new, because it gives it features that it didn't originally have. Roger?
Yeah, and I have that. I have EQ for my 7610, and I just noticed. I switched antennas. Does that help? I'm going to go back to the other antenna if this helps.
Oh, no. That sounds really good right at the moment. I'm on my local 7300 now, Roger.
Okay, we'll use this antenna then. Yeah, this is my. Okay, we'll use this on. The match is better on this. So anyhow, you get a better sound on it now. That's the processor in. Mic gain is at 5, I turned the bottom of the D104 up a touch, and I'm staying away from at least 4 inches.
Yeah, I think that's sounding better. I really do. And I usually, suggest if you're running a powered device, do you have to adjust that with a screwdriver on the bottom of the D104?
Yes, you do. It's right here.
Okay, so what I normally would suggest is that you put your internal mic level control in the nominal position of like a 2.5. If you have a scale of 0 to 5, put it on a 2.5 or a 3, and then adjust your external device to get your proper level, and that way you're right in the mid spot of your input signal that it's looking for. Considering that the design manufacturer would say, we're going to put this mic control in the in the middle position will be a nominal level, and it can go plus or minus. So I would say, if you put the microphone on a 3, and then adjust your internal microphone level control on a 3, and then adjusted your external mic level to where you hit your ALC level correctly, that would be probably the best way to do it. Roger?
Okay, the scale on the mic gain is 0 to 10. It's at 5. How's that for a start?
Okay, so you have a 0 to 10 mic input. So I would put it on a 5, and then I would put your internal mic gain control on a 5, and then adjust your external mic gain until you're at the proper level on your ALC meter, as you say the word audio. Roger, it'd be 7 or 2/3 on your ALC meter.
Okay, there we go. We come down. Audio. Is that closer?
Yes, sir. I think that's good. Then, so what's happened now is that you're in a nominal position on your input, your internal mic level control. You're at a 5, which is halfway between 0 and 10. So that's a nominal input level control. And then you're coming in just as you're adjusting your external device to match that, so you have a lot of leeway then, plus or minus, before you have any problems of distortion, which is exactly what you want to consider there by placing that mic gain control, internal mic gain control, at the mid position. Roger?
Okay, good. This do a lot on frequency to you. Your voice sounds fine here, but when I transmit it goes to KC5.
Okay, I'm sorry, you dropped in frequency that time. Come back again, kind of zero me if you can. Roger?
Okay.
No, you're still low. Okay, I'm just going to talk here for a minute and just adjust your level, your frequency until I sound right. I'm hoping you are affecting both your transmit and receive. Roger. This is KC9VKV. I can't hear a word you're saying. I can hear you, but I can't understand you. You're very off frequency there. Come back to where you were. Disregard whatever you were doing just then, and come back to where you were. You were a lot closer earlier. Roger?
Sounds like he's probably got his wrist on it.
I don't know. Yeah, I think he went the wrong way. Hello. Try coming up a little bit. That was too low. Roger?
Yeah, this is agonizing, isn't it?
Who was that? Was that you?
Yes, me. I said this is agonizing. So it's not transmitting where it's receiving.
Yeah, it's pretty close. pretty close. It's just a tad low now, just a tad low. But like I say, if you're running a frequency meter, it should show you what's going on there. I don't know why it wouldn't.
It doesn't seem to. Oh Jesus! It doesn't necessarily sound like it.
Yeah, you were still some. I couldn't. I don't know where you were. I could not understand what you were saying. You know, probably my fault. But there you go. I would run the 7610 myself. I'm too old to. I guess I'm past my my prime as far as looking for older radio to perform like new. I got a bunch of Drake stuff that I haven't aired in years because they just you're constantly tuning. You're constantly nudging one way or the other on all that Drake stuff, particularly at higher frequencies. I used to run that Drake at 10 meters, man, and it was just a constant touch-up because I tried warming the oscillator area, and I tried cooling the oscillator area with fans, and I never, it didn't really ever make any difference. It just never was stable, Roger.
Never make any difference. It just never was stable, Roger.
Yeah, that's why they call it the old days, I guess. I understand. This radio is supposed to be on for a while, and I've adjusted the best I can to your voice. It runs at 187 is what it shows, and then when I transmit it goes to 187.2.
That last transmission was very good. Sounded good to me as far as being on frequency. 7300, like I say, is at 7188, and that was sounded to me like you were right there on transmit.
88, and that was sounded to me like you were right there on transmit.
Well, maybe it's warming up.
Yes, sir. Well, gosh, let's take it down to Miami Beach and see how it works. We can take it out on the beach there and just put it out in the sun and just relax and Qso out there on the beach, Roger, and it'll be right on frequency with all that sun down there.
Roger, and it'll be right on frequency with all that sun down there.
Yeah, Roger. You know what? Let me let you go. You've been very kind, and I will give us a little more time to run, and I'll make a couple of more Qsos with it, and see if it does come back into transmit and receive together. If it doesn't, I will have a conversation with someone. Okay. Thank you very much. I didn't write your call sign down. I got a K and a C here, but I don't have any more than that. NAUAS.
Roger, I would pull the volume down just a little bit from where you are. I would reset my ALC to mid 2/3 or 7 because you look a little hot right at the moment. So, I would do that. So 73 there, bud. Good to talk at you, and don't be such a stranger. We'll make that radio work, Roger.
Don't be such a stranger. We'll make that radio work, Roger.
Yeah, Roger. I just turned the mic gain down to 4.
Yes, sir. I think that's better. It sounds like you're about probably 3 dB, a dynamic range, which means your average percent of peak modulation is between 80 and 85%, which is a nice hefty signal, Roger.
85%, which is a nice hefty signal, Roger.
Okay, Roger. I was told that the tubes are very good. It's running about 150 watts on the tube, so they're almost at 100%. And anyhow, I appreciate you taking the time, and the other gentleman that came in there, that was kind of him also. All the best to you. November 8, Uniform Alpha X-Ray, best 7-3.
Roger, Roger, Mark 73, sir. And that last transmission I thought was the best. I mean, it was just on frequency, and it sounded pretty good EQ-wise. 73, sir. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. If you have our radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Whiskey 8, Victor Bravo Tango.
Something Bravo Tango, come back with your call sign slowly, phonetically.
Something Bravo Tango, come back with your call sign slowly, phonetically.
Whiskey 8, Victor Bravo Tango.
You go Whiskey 8 and then something and then Bravo Tango. So what's the missing letter there, Roger?
And then Bravo Tango. So what's the missing letter there, Roger?
Roger, that's Victor. Whiskey 8, Victor Bravo Tango.
Victor Bravo Tango, Roger, Roger. What's the name?
Victor Bravo Tango, Roger, Roger. What's the name?
Name here is John. Juliet Oscar Hotel November.
Roger, John, and what's your location, sir?
Roger, John, and what's your location, sir?
Avon Alpha, Victor, Oscar November. Avon, Ohio, about 16 miles west of Cleveland, Ohio.
Roger, Roger, and what radio are you running today, sir?
Roger, Roger, and what radio are you running today, sir?
I'm running the J2 FTGX10.
Roger that. Well, gosh, thanks for checking in there. We usually, if you're interested in our setup procedure, it starts with you checking on your transmit bandwidth, your TVW. We want that on the wide position, 100 to 2900. That will make that transmitter operate as best it can, and then give you just a slice of daylight before you're into somebody else's conversation. So if you know about that transmit bandwidth, great. You adjust it. There's probably 3 selections. Choose wide, 100 to 2900, or just right at this moment make a note of that and check it out later at your leisure. Wide TBW 100 to 2900, Roger.
Wide TBW 100 to 2900, Roger.
Roger that, Roger that. I changed it. I had it at 300 to 27, and I changed it now to 100 to 2900.
Roger, Roger, sounding pretty good. Now, on your compressor processor, we want that to be 3 out of 10 or 30 out of 100. On and 3 out of 10 or 30 out of 100, just a third of that compressor processor, Roger.
Of 100, just a third of that compressor processor, Roger.
Roger that. Let me make the adjustment. All right, second processor is now at 3030.
Roger, Roger. Okay, then to your ALC meter with the mic gain in hand. And as you say the word audio, don't worry about the back half of that word. It's mainly the first half, the audio. And say that just as you would say any other word, and adjust your mic gain control until your ALC meter is running 7 or 2/3. 7 or 2/3 on your ALC meter by way of your mic gain control adjustment. Roger?
By way of your mic gain control adjustment. Roger?
Roger that. I'll make the adjustment. W8ABC testing. Audio. Audio.
And you would say that just like you would say any other word. Don't stress it. Just say it as you would say any other word in a QSO or whatever, you know.
The other word in a QSO or whatever, you know.
I'm sorry about that. I might have trouble with you. Can you come back?
Yes, sir. I say don't stress that word. Just say it as you would say any other word that you would in a QSO. Audio. And then adjust that mic gain until your ALC meter is running 2/3 or 7.
Until your ALC meter is running 2/3 or 7.
Roger that. Okay. Audio. All right. ALC is at 7. Mic gain is at 35.
Mic gain is at 35?
Mic gain is at 35.
Roger. Mic gain at 35.
All right, that sounds pretty good. Take it up to 40 and just let me hear it at 40, just out of curiosity.
Take it up to 40 and just let me hear it at 40, just out of curiosity.
Mic gain at 40. Mic gain at 40. Audio.
Okay, so it's really important to be consistent with the way you work your microphone. Your proximity to microphone is, chiseled, should be chiseled in steel, because we set all this up about your certain proximity to microphone. So you want to always approach that microphone just the same way, so we'll get the same answer as far as that level control. Roger?
Get the same answer as far as that level control. Roger?
Roger. I am running the IO 7 with the 18-7 dynamic mic, and I have the boom mic. On my mouth.
Yes, so the thing about that boom mic is we wanted to run it out as far as it'll go in front of you, and then at the last minute take a 90. That will really minimize any mouth noises you might have. So it's as far out as you can get it in front of you, and then at the last minute make your 90. Roger?
Get it in front of you, and then at the last minute make your 90. Roger?
Roger that. This is at about 4 inches. 4 inches out. 5 inches out.
Yeah, just as far as you can. Now, if you went out further than where you were, you'll need to go back and reset your ALC level. If you have moved your proximity to microphone further out, then you might want to go back and reset your level again. And you still want to make sure you do that 90-degree turn at the end that places the microphone input kind of parallel to your position. Roger?
But kind of parallel to your position. Roger?
Roger that. Microphone. I have the microphone parallel, and I'll reset the ALC here in just a second.
Okay, go ahead and reset your level there. Audio, and adjust your mic level until you're 7 or 2/3 on your ALC meter.
Mic level until you're 7 or 2/3 on your ALC meter.
Roger that. Audio. All right, let's go back down around 35 on the mic.
Roger. Roger. Well, I'm about run out of SDRs by this time. I get kicked off of all these SDRs for not doing anything or whatever they want to do, but I've lost them all except my Kentucky SDR, my local receiver by now. And I don't have a good copy on you on my local receiver. I do have on my Kentucky SDR, which is up around Cincinnati. But do you know anything? Do you know about your equalizer, your EQ page? Are you familiar with that?
Your equalizer, your EQ page. Are you familiar with that?
Yeah. The equalizer. I do not have the equalizer on. The equalizer is off.
Okay, turn your equalizer on, and you'll be in the P mode. If that radio has a P mode for your equalizer on, you'll be in the P mode. Roger, Roger.
You'll be in the P mode. Roger, Roger.
Roger that. Equalizer is on right now. Equalizer is on.
Sounds pretty good. Sounds pretty good. I would go, is that a 3-band EQ, or what kind of equalizer is that radio?
Is that a 3-band EQ, or what kind of equalizer is that radio?
I'm really not sure. It's built into the radio.
I wouldn't change a thing, though. I just heard you in the clear for a moment, and it sounded pretty good. So I would suggest that we have it fairly well set up. Why don't you tell me about the best thing you like about that radio, and let me get a recording for you, sir. Roger?
About that radio, and let me get a recording for you, sir. Roger?
Roger, Roger. Yeah, the FEX10, I really like this radio. The reason I ended up getting it is my previous radio that I was using was a FT891, and I got a small area here for my shack, so the FEX10 was the right size, and I'm running normally between 50 and 100 watts into a 84-foot random wire and-fed Nelson 91 and-fed antenna. So it does everything I need to do, and I'm able to walk everywhere with it. So that's why I really like it. Good.
Roger, Roger. Well, it sounds really good now. I would leave it just like that. Sounds beautiful. If I had more RF on you, it would sound even better. It is what it is, though. Mother Nature, gives and takes, and right now she's not giving a bunch. But we are recording it, and if you want to hear what that radio sounds like, the latter stuff sounds better to me than the beginning. But you listen all the way through there, and you can hear what we're doing as we do it, and what the differences make on that radio as we do it. If you go to YouTube and do a call letter search, Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, followed by the word logbook, it will take you to this recording. It'll be cut number 1 in the series of 3200, and I'll have it uploaded to YouTube by noon tomorrow. Roger?
And I'll have it uploaded to YouTube by noon tomorrow. Roger?
Roger that. The call there, Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo.
Victor Kilo Victor, VKV. Roger?
Victor Kilo Victor, VKV, Roger?
Roger, Roger on that. Yeah, this is great. Gosh, I wish I would have found you a long time ago. I spent hours trying to get this thing set up, so I can't tell you how much I appreciate this.
Roger, Roger. I wish, like I say, Mother Nature would have given us a better, signal, but I got enough of it to hear it and know that this last part is really good. So I would just leave it like that. But you be the judge. Check her out. Roger, Roger.
Like that. But you be the judge. Check her out. Roger, Roger.
Roger, Roger. Again, much thanks. Like I said, I spent hours going through videos, talking to different people, doing tests, and everybody said it was good, but I'm going to go listen to this recording and see how much better it sounds now. Again, very, very much thanks. I appreciate it.
Roger. Now make a note of your proximity to microphone, the way you're working it. Make a note of that right now, because this is exactly where you need to be, and you need to stay just like that. Because if you move around, it's going to affect the fidelity, the frequency response, and also the level. So just stay exactly pretty much as you are. Roger, Roger.
Just stay exactly pretty much as you are. Roger, Roger.
Roger, Roger. I just made a little note here on my pad. Made the length of my
frequencies in use.
The mic, so I can check it every time. It should be the time.
Frequencies in use.
Roger, Roger. So is it John? Is that a Roger?
Roger, Roger. So is it John? Is that a Roger?
That is. It's John here.
Roger, John. Okay, bud, I think we've got it there. Sounds really good. Check her out. Again, if you go to YouTube, do that call letter search, KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook. We'll take you to this recording. It'll be cut number 1 in a series of 3200, and I'll have it uploaded by noon tomorrow, Roger.
Series of 3200, and I'll have it uploaded by noon tomorrow, Roger.
Roger that. Roger that. Again, very much appreciate. Thank you very much for the help. Are you guys normally on here all the time? Because I got others who I'll definitely refer to this frequency and this net.
Roger. Well, appreciate that, John. And you have a great afternoon, beautiful weekend, 73, sir. And we'll catch you next Friday if you get a chance. We'd love to have you. And with all that being said, we got to get out of here and return this frequency back to normal amateur radio use. This is Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, clear.